Episode 40 of Minor Disturbance Radio, and of course, I'm Brian Minor, and I've got two cool-ass motherfuckers with us today. Of course, Travis always sits there, and Dusty Smith from 1150-fucking-2. That's a new name of your band.
What's up? I like it.
You know, everybody knows that 1152 is at least in the top 10 of my favorite local bands. Probably in the lower half, but I mean, you know, they're pretty good.
You mean like the lower numbers?
I've seen them 5 times.
Or the higher numbers? I've seen them 5 times. That's crazy.
Anyway, I'm glad you're here, Dusty. It's about time we got you on the show. I mean, it's really special to have you and Travis sitting next to each other.
Yeah, that's
again.
right.
Yeah.
It's been a little while. It's been a little while since we've touched each other's heads.
Look at your biceps. It looks so nice.
Little head touch. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's get together. Make an ass of ourselves.
See, for those who don't know, Travis, of course, well, we talk about it all the time, but Travis and Dusty were in a band previously called Marianas. No, I loved Marianas, and you know, and that's what's interesting about, you know, the songwriting process is, you know, Travis, you had written all of that yourself, basically, and
Crooked Sounds was a group effort.
Yeah, there was a couple.
Crooked Sounds was a group effort, and there were, which some people thought that was our best song.
Yeah,
yeah.
Man, there's some songs that I wish I had.
Yeah,
recordings of.
Me too. I know it, man.
You
Some of the
just,
stuff we were doing right at the end was going to be pretty cool too. But
Feel Then Your Way Out.
That's right.
Song was awesome.
That's right.
And Blue Sky Walls.
Blue Sky Walls, yeah.
Love to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
Too bad we don't have that to listen to.
I know it. It's Dusty's fault.
I ran into Worm too. Just the day before yesterday. Worm.
Oh yeah.
Was at.
Now, when you say Worm, he's talking about Christopher, Edwin, Ethan Allen, Worm.
Ethan Allen,
Ermy.
Proud New Papa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Dad Worm.
Oh man, cool.
Man.
And by the way, Worm, your hair is awesome. You are one sexy bitch. I just gotta say,
He is.
I hadn't seen him with like long hair like
Lion's
that in
mane.
quite a while.
Lion's mane.
Yeah.
You know, 90% of the people that are in this area or in the scene, fucking great people, man.
Those are my favorite people for sure.
There's what's cool about it is they seem self-deprecating to the point that it's almost sickening. I mean, what I like about it is nobody comes up with any kind of fake premise like, "Hey, dudes," and like you know, you got to feel like you're cooler than anybody else or anything, because you're gonna get it.
Oh, that was your job, Brian.
No one's gonna stand for that shit, you know. We all stood there and we just all laughed about gigs and the scene and playing, and it was just so much fun. And nobody seemed fake. Everybody laughs at each other.
Cool.
And that's what was cool about Worm. I was saying, I remember going into Music Go Round. And you and Warren be working in there, and before I even got 2 feet in the door, you know, you guys are saying like, "Hey man, where's your leather pants?" or
Right.
or you know, "Where's your bandana?"
Right.
Things like that, making fun of me, but not making fun of me.
I should have brought some footage that I've got.
Oh yeah. See, now that'd be great.
Some fun times. Yep.
That would be great. Populate, get out some Pipe Theory footage, get some footage of Worm in his natural environment.
Yeah.
By the way, the only fake personality Worm has is his real one. It's the only one. So you always get what you see is what you get with that dude.
What I was trying to say that I loved about Marianas was, and he discussed it with me too, was just a straight, okay, ready? Your amp works, the drums are set up, ready? Go. And there was no bullshit like, oh, I need to check this snare for an hour and a half, or my amp ain't just right, or can I get more monitor? It was just like, it was a stripped down fucking machine that
Some of our shows really fucking sucked for that reason.
It seemed like you guys were ready to street race no matter what. You know what I mean?
We were. And we lost a lot of fucking races because we didn't check the machinery, you know what I mean? Make sure we had... Make sure our transmission wasn't going to fucking drop out.
But I think the energy was transparent. I mean, even if the PA wasn't working properly, everything that was happening from the nucleus out.
Loudest band I've ever been in. Loudest band I've ever been in.
It would take all of every PA to keep up with what Worm and Trav had.
Yeah, that's right.
It was...
And
it was insane.
It was insane. It was totally insane. And
then Daniel hit harder.
That's the thing.
I mean,
that's the only justification for any of it was that you had to have a drummer
since we're
that
talking about Marianas, I should probably play that video again. I haven't played it in a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put that in here right here.
All right.
And
go.
So check this out.
Am I persuaded by the pleading look in your eye? There was a time when I'd have gone and tried lying to replete the table of trial. You had me hung before I denied. I can beat it with the people thought in my mind. The cold-hearted crime shame. Hey, hey, hey. This is a shame. Hey, hey. This is a shame. Hey, hey. This is a shame. Hey, this is a shame.
So that was Marianis, and that video was fucking awesome. And that was Worm in there wearing the sombrero and eating the burrito.
Yeah,
That's
best,
right.
Best part of any video.
That
ever.
is.
It is.
I've never seen anything like
love
it.
it.
I would have never thought to do that.
I don't know, the
I show
two-headed Travis
people
was pretty
all
cool.
the time.
You gotta be
Like,
shitting
oh
me.
yeah, oh, I love it.
You're kidding me,
It's
man.
great. Yeah, no,
Oh, wow.
not kidding you.
Yeah, it's almost as good as the 1152 video that I made.
You
Oh,
did.
you made it. You made an 1152
You know what's
video?
cool is
Oh.
the video for 1152 that's on my page. I think what you guys are up like 4,000 ish
Really?
views. I think on that.
Wow.
man.
I mean, you guys don't even promote it. You have your own little YouTube or some sort of page, right?
Yep.
What is it?
It's our YouTube channel.
Okay,
Just
you should have that on your YouTube channel.
yep.
Why don't you have it?
Send it on over to us.
I kind of get the
Done
feeling
deal.
that you
You
guys
know-
are over it.
No,
Like, you're
absolutely
like, oh,
not.
man, that video was
Absolutely
stupid.
not. Steve would love to get his hands on that and put it on our. He would love it.
Okay,
You should
he can
send it
have
to
it.
him.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. Because you
See?
guys should be getting the view counts for that, not me. And plus, it feeds my ego. I'm like, damn, 3,000 people watched my show. Nope, 2,999 people watched the 1152 video, and my mom watched the podcast. Damn it.
One last chance for fighting, one last dance with dying. Time is now to put you down. Disgusted by the critics, so weak and so pathetic, down and out. So hold the hand that wears the crown. You look so weak tonight, never make it to the daylight on your own two feet. But you could stand up strong. Difference is you have to belong to the company.
what's the next step for your band? I mean, what are you guys moving? You guys are obviously driven people, and you're working towards something.
Yep. And we do a lot of talking. I mean, we practice 2 nights a week, so we're always together.
Right.
And then we play shows on the weekend, and we're traveling to shows, and so we spend a lot of time together. Spend a lot of time talking and
touching each other's butts.
Touching spots,
places,
fun places.
Yeah.
No, and when we do talk, we talk about what is coming up for us and what do we want to do. And so right now, our main focus is putting out a 3rd album. We're gonna play a lot of shows this summer. Like, it's prime time for shows. So that'll put a damper on it because we all have jobs and kids and wives and lives. But we'll get it done.
Okay, and
it's
so
going to take a little bit.
And the record, when it gets done, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely stomping. Okay, I'm sure it's going to kill.
I hope so, man.
But then what?
I think
because anymore, you can't just put out a record and then sell 1 million copies, right? That doesn't happen.
Right.
Or
nope.
So what's the plan of attack for 1152 then? Is what we're saying. Are you guys ready to get in a Winnebago and jump on a tour or buy onto a tour or any of that?
I wouldn't say that. No, I don't think we are. And I think it's because of, none of us are in a situation to do that. I think there's other ways to get your music out there, to get yourself to a certain level, if you want to call it a level, or basically just get your music in the ears of more people. Because I think if you have a group of people in the Quad Cities that are willing to support you and come to your shows and buy your shirts and buy your CDs, that same group of people is probably in every town. That hears your sound and your look, and they think, that's cool, I can relate to that, I want that, I want to buy that, I want to put that in my car,
right?
And I'm going to get down with that.
Be a part of it, right? Yeah.
And I think you can find that in every city, and I don't, now with YouTube and iTunes, Facebook.
Right. You mentioned CD Baby, and then there's all the streaming radio services, and Rhapsody and
shows just like this one. I mean, this show
NPR, absolutely
are all ways of trying to get it out there, and I think you do at some point have to quit your job and go and tour if that's how big you want to be. You know what I mean? Like,
just what would you name your genre?
Hard rock?
No. Really?
I don't know.
You think that 1152 is hard rock?
Has hard rock gotten that metallic? I mean,
no.
It may. It may have.
I mean, what do you consider?
I would say Godsmack is hard rock. You guys are metal. And I want to say that you're old school metal. Because the more I listen to you, I realize that the roots are from... I mean, that's probably why I love it so much, is because it's back to the straightforward fucking gas engine metal. You know what I mean? Not this performance electric car bullshit that's going on that's good for the environment. Your shit's not good for the environment. It's going to cause a hole in the ozone layer because it's just, you know what I mean? It's
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's got that dirty.
There's nothing green about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel safe around it sometimes.
Right.
It's frightening. Well, and that's what I mean. When your leg drops like that and the song goes on and the sweat comes and the facial expression comes, the danger's there, and that's what I like about it. Like I told him, we got to get Freeberg to do a couple other little things, but
he's got power.
Just playing
stance.
with you, big boy. I'm just kidding.
Power stance.
I've kind of gotten into that now. I'm kind of starting to get that whole.
He's saving his body for disc golf.
Right. Yeah.
So true.
But yeah, that was my point. I mean, 1152 isn't, and I don't want to take this wrong, it's by not breaking new ground, you're breaking new ground in a way, because it seems like you're kind of against your antithesis of what it is to be in the mainstream
like
pop.
The mainstream metal. Because everything's becoming more and more popular.
Does that make sense?
In a way, yeah.
And you make no excuses about it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's what I admire about it, is there's no excuse like, the next one's going to sound a little bit more like this because that's cool. It's going to sound like 1152.
It's just whatever comes out. Yeah. And we've always tried to just, whatever it is. And when we're writing, we don't like try and Well, every once in a while, we'll try and sway one band member to, if you don't like it, come on, just get on board with it. But that doesn't happen very often. Usually, we all have to agree on every little part of every.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing that you're able to actually accomplish things.
Forever to write, but in the end, I think when you do that, you end up with a pretty cool song because you're not stuck to just one guy making all the calls and one particular feel or sound, or you end up with something weird.
That's one thing I really miss about not being in a position to be in an original band anymore. Is that creativity, like the when things come together. You get in the room, you go through a part, you play it enough times, and you kind of get to this wall where you don't know what riff's going to come next, and somebody just takes off on something out of and wait, what's that?
Yep.
And then three dudes hate it. And secretly you've been working on it all day. You're trying to act like it was something that you're just trying for the first time. Like, hey, that just came out, man. I don't know what happened. And they're like, "Well, that sucks." And you're like, "Fuck you, man.
Yeah,
do it again.
You hate everything I do."
It's not a beer because egos are so easily damaged in that position. And then later on, you don't get to do the way that you want to do it, and then you're playing it 10 years later, and you're just like, I told you we should have done that other fucking riff, man.
Yeah. Holding grudges and shit.
But that's cool how you do that. So that's how the song process works is you guys get in the same room and just start seeing what happens, or does somebody bring initial...
I mean, sometimes somebody will bring something. A lot of times we'll just be hanging out and a riff will come out, of Mike or Eric. Eric will play something, we'll start jamming with him and start throwing vocals on it. It's usually gibberish, just trying to get a melody and
get the rhythm.
And if it feels good, man, we'll cook on it. We'll just keep playing it,
bait it into the ground.
Yeah.
Yep. Bait it.
Yep. until it's something.
Yeah.
I gotta say something about singers' jobs and how to be around your brothers when you're writing songs and you don't know what the words are gonna be yet, and you're doing that whole scat thing where
exactly that.
Yep.
And you try to get this idea of a melody, but you have no idea.
You feel like such an idiot when you're doing it. But
I don't know, man. I do it.
I know, man.
I like it because, like, this is the thing I think is really fucked up about it. Maybe this speaks to my insanity, but like when I record demos and I do the gibberish thing, I'll go back and listen to it about 20 times and then
start singing.
I start to realize I was saying shit.
Yeah,
I was saying shit I didn't even know it.
Dude, I've done that at shows in Marianus and in 1152. We're like, we'll have a new song, and I'm like, I got the vocal melodies, but I haven't written any of the lyrics yet, and I'm just like, let's play it anyway.
Yeah.
I'll do something.
Oh, you don't even have the words yet? You I'm going to put myself on the spot and just see what I say.
Do it, yeah. I actually did that with our song Drone, which will be on our next album. But we wrote that a while ago, and it was brand new when we did the 12-Foot Ninja show. And we all wanted to play it pretty bad, so we played it anyway. I just didn't have any lyrics, and there's video of that on YouTube, which now everybody's
right.
I don't know everybody, but
you changed the lyrics. I don't like it now. I don't like it anymore now. You changed.
You can
lyrics.
tell
First
I'm not even saying real words, man. There's there's some weird stuff in there.
But none of your songs say do or da 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 or la la la.
And the next
album, baby,
shimmy shimmy bang bang.
Yeah,
things like that, right?
Yep. That too.
That was really good. Yeah,
do that in some dry lung.
I will. I know, not gonna happen. Lungs are a little wet tonight. Feeling a little wet.
Nice. You guys. So, what summer shows do you have coming up?
We have quite a few. Some of the main ones around here are May 22nd at Rascals. That'll be a cool. Now you guys getting warm out kind of.
You guys always do really well at Rascals, but go ahead.
Yep. And then we are about to announce today that we're doing Rock the District this year with 3 Years Hollow and Brett Michaels, which I think you guys were making fun of that show.
No.
Now how does that work? Where are you at on the? Where's
I know we were making fun of Brett Michaels
on the bill.
Just kidding.
Where are you at on the bill?
We will be the first band opening.
And then is there another band between you and 3 Years?
I believe so. Yep.
Do you know
who
that is?
I'm not sure who that is. No.
It's Drop Hammer. Ha! Just announce. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Yeah, right.
It's not. No.
You had me.
He's like, oh, I'm leaving.
I got him.
It's Marianas.
I was looking at you like, is that?
No, it's not, man.
Real?
It's not. But there's that
I wonder
mystery.
who it is, though.
Well, I'm glad you guys. I guess I'm glad you guys are doing it. I mean, I think you should be higher in the bill.
I'm
It's
sorry.
our first year doing it, man. I mean, you got to pay your dues. You got to.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but what the fuck is Rock the District? I don't even know what it is. Is it just an outdoor
show? It's put on by Ribco and the Daiquiri Factory.
Okay.
And I think a couple other.
But there's no like charity benefit or anything.
It's just a big ass outside concert down the district.
Year
that features rock.
Chevelle was the band last year that was
Chevelle.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they bring, they had Tesla, Chevelle.
Okay.
Theory of a Dead Man was there, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
great band.
Buck Cherry
Not
was
really.
The headliner at one point, weren't they?
Sorry. No, I'm not
Don't
fucking
be
sorry.
sorry,
I'm
dude.
not
Own
fucking
that.
sorry. I will own the
you
fuck
should
out
own
of
that.
that. I fucking
really
hate
should.
that song. That fucking
It's
song.
cool.
What is
Yeah.
it? Bad Girlfriend?
Any song that has lyrics like that,
Dude. See,
I'm not with
to
it.
me, that shit was country. I don't know how you felt about it, but like if I listened to the lyrical structure of that stuff, it sounded just like Nashville country to me. Same with a bunch of fucking songs from Nickelback. Same fucking deal. It just sounds like Nashville country to me.
So,
but anyway, I digress.
I want to get more in. You're such a nice guy, Dusty. You're such a nice guy. You've always been a really nice
hitting
guy.
me.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, man.
What is it? How is it feeling for you to
extra
kind
nice to
of?
Travis.
You guys want to have a second?
We are having a second.
Wait
We're
for our
having
second podcast. Like the other podcast that we do that nobody knows about.
That's right. Broadcast
Sign up now.
only in Brazil and Vietnam.
I don't want to go into that character. Welcome to Gays Anonymous. Disturbance. Anyway, you've always been really super cool. And
Thanks, man.
how has it been to be kind of getting in that position of, hey, man, that's Dusty, And do you see that much?
I don't know.
Is it happening?
No, I don't think so. No. I wouldn't say that it is. No. I feel like I thought about this before I came over here, and I did want to talk about this a little bit, that it is weird to get put on certain shows or in front of certain crowds, or I don't even know exactly how to say it, but I remember, and I think a lot of guys in bands can relate to this, seeing 3 Years Hollow start to take off and feeling jealous and probably saying something about, those guys, why are they getting all the treatment? Why are they, those guys are dicks.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep.
And we talk about that all the time.
We do,
And but those guys deserved everything they got thrown at them. They worked really hard to get where they are, and they still are. I mean, they're working harder than most bands.
Yeah.
And so when a show gets thrown at you, you're not going to say, no, I'm loyal to whatever, or loyal's not even the word. I think you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you get thrown on these bigger shows, and you might start to get looked at like, well, those guys are starting to be.
Do you think
dicks,
you're cool?
Man. Like,
okay, so I'm glad that you said that, because I'm glad that you said that, because I think you're kind of understanding what I'm getting at. Is the kind of other bands that are vying for that are looking at you guys, and they used to be at your level, and now they're watching you rise.
I'm not really saying other bands.
No?
I mean like just any individual. I wouldn't single out bands.
So you're afraid of people thinking you guys are getting a big head.
I feel frustrated if that does happen.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's
well, I'll tell you this, it's gonna happen if you get in that position too often, no matter how cool you are to everybody, no matter how good your music is or how you deserve it, just because that's a natural response for people. I'll tell you a story, okay? Since I put this fucking podcast out, and it just so you possibly this might relate to what you might be dealing with. I immediately had some people that were just immediately haters, right? And they're, fuck Brian, who does he think he is? We've talked about this a million times. But come to find out, the biggest one that's hated me for the most time is now telling everybody that he has his own podcast. Okay?
Cool.
So, and he's going to do, and he just interviewed Chris Holmes from Wasp. And when asked, hey, where could we see this said podcast? I don't put it on fucking Facebook, man. Next time I'll give you to it on DVD. So he's not doing a podcast. He's not, but you got to understand these people want to be you so fucking bad. And I know that sounds egotistical, but they want to be in your position so bad. They're willing to sell themselves out and completely look like a dick and be complete assholes. I mean, that's going to happen. There's that 10%, like I said, 90% of people are cool as fuck. There's that 10% of they're complete douchebags.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they're going to be able to do to make them happy. Period.
That's true.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
And
I
you're
guess
going to
that just
focus on them.
sticks to me a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
you're going to focus on them.
Right.
Because you could have 100 people say, I love your band, man. You guys deserve it. And that one guy like, yeah, well, you guys fucking bought your way to the top or fucking sold out or it's because you knew 3 Years Hollow.
I wish we
or
could
whatever.
buy our way to the top.
Yeah, right.
It was because you were on MDR.
Yeah, it's because Brian mentions you every week on his podcast.
Yeah. I've been breaking bands for 40 episodes now. Who's got famous? No one. All right.
What episode is this? What number?
This is number 40.
40?
Yeah. The age I turned this year.
Yeah.
Boom, pow,
I know
brother.
it, man.
You're just a child.
That's true.
Young fella.
That's true.
But you know, in that spirit though, I wanted to take a second real quick. Because there's another local band that has the number 11 in their name. Believe it or not.
11th Hour?
Yep, 11th Hour, and they I approached them. They just put out a record, and they're trying to make their way here and do some stuff. And I like helping people out, especially if I can see definitely a glimmer of hope in what they're doing. So I mean, I want to play 11th Hour for people, so that maybe if there's some people that are listening and they dig it, go pick up their CD or go see them the next time they play. But also, since you're here, I'm going to have you critique it.
Nice.
Since you're in a position of power.
Yeah.
So we're. I'm just kidding.
But let's do it. This would be cool.
Let's do it, and we could talk about it. Here,
absolutely,
check it out,
man.
This is 11th Hour. This is called Last Time.
Right on.
All right, that was the 11th Hour, and that song was called Last Time. Since we're kind of, I'm sure that people, when they hear that, they're like, I wonder what they think of it, or if they have anything to say about it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna say one positive thing about it, and then we're gonna say possibly one con about it, like what we might do a little to make it a little better. Even if it's a perfect song, we're gonna have to find something that's a con.
Right. And con should be short for constructive criticism.
Sure.
We're not gonna fucking bash it. We're just gonna say something that we would improve.
But what's our favorite thing about it? And then maybe what is something that we might do to improve upon it? And who cares what we think anyway? But I just think that's the fairest way of listening to a song, having a podcast, and then people waiting for us to say something about it. So
I like this game. You start.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can tell you right now the pros of the song. I'll list a couple of them because there's a couple things I liked about that song. That is, the chorus is strong. I like the harmonies in it as far in the melody of it, and the riff, the sound of the riff and stuff is really good. I guess if I had to look for a con in there, I think I would have got a little more creative in the verses.
I see.
Right.
What do you think there, Dusty?
They got a shredder in the band.
That's a pro.
And as my pros, I would say the breakdown that was just before the solo,
heavy,
got me, banging my head. I thought the intro was really cool because they did some off time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they stuck some stuff in there that was really unexpected and cool. As a con, I would say sometimes when you bring your last chorus in, you want it to be the biggest chorus. So maybe add some extra sounds or just an extra harmony or maybe an extra instrument or something in there to make that last chorus really shine and smack you in the mouth.
And by the way, this is basically we're all songwriters.
Yeah, that's right. We are all songwriters, aren't we?
And this is an opportunity for people to bounce it off of other songwriters, and have a pro and a con that we could talk about, and just don't get your feelings hurt, don't get your big head, or either one. Just kind of, if you send your shit to MDR, we're gonna do a pro and con on it because I think that's only fair.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So my big pro, and this is something that I look for in a lot of recordings. A lot of recordings don't have it. Is the bass tone really sounds good? I like the bass guitar tone, and it's, to me, a good bass guitar tone is the difference between something that sounds heavy and something that doesn't. I mean, I used to always think it was the guitar, the electric guitars, but it's the bass guitar. So kudos on the bass guitar tone. My con would be structural. I would make it. I'd make the song about a minute shorter. I think after the guitar solo, to go back in and spend another minute with it, unless you did something like what Dusty suggested, do something to make it so that that the same thing that you do is different from the same thing that you do early. In other words, you don't ever really do the same thing. You just figure out ways to intensify it so that way you can have an arc, and where things follow along some rising tension and then find resolution, and that'd be my criticism, I guess.
Well, thanks very much, 11th Hour.
But great song.
Yeah,
great song.
Thank you very much, 11th Hour, for having the guts to have us spin the song. And sorry, we used you as a guinea pig for the pros and con thing. But that's what we're going to do from now on if people have their stuff on the show. So cool. And if you disagree with anything I said, feel free to come on the podcast and discuss it and lose.
And when and when we meet, true to your guinea pig status, we will take your temperature rectally.
Sounds like a good time.
So one thing, like I said,
the taker, not the takee.
They recorded a lot of that at Rob Cimarusti's studio, I believe, and then finished the tracks. Dan Banker is the lead guitar player. I think they finished it at his house with the guitars and the vocals and all that. One little tidbit of information about that, though, is the guitar player, the guitar tone in the solo had a lot of nice mid tones in it because it's a PV Rockmaster preamp, and that's what I use, and I can smell one of them a mile away. Yeah. Even though he did tell me that's what he was using, but a Rockmaster preamp
it's got that grind, man.
Yeah, it's the same one that everybody's walked past that music go around 1,000 times. It was only $150 or something.
Yeah.
But they sound awesome.
Something when as soon as you hear it, you're in your head, you're like,
well,
I know exactly what
my
that is.
entire Drop Hammer career, and this really doesn't mean anything, because if you listen to a Drop Hammer record, I've never did a record that sounded good. When you're recording for 8 hours, you have 8 hours to do a record, it never comes out good.
No, it doesn't.
So, you're not hearing true to form what, anyway, if you saw us live, though, you did hear it, and a lot of people stood in front of the amp and went, what are you using? and it was a Rockmaster preamp with a 120 watt stereo,
that's right.
classic
the 120,
PV
120. Yep.
Power amp. It's all tube, and I always felt embarrassed about that because I never really had the jack to go buy a boutique amp like an SLO or a Marshall or any of them amps that everybody was, the cool people had the real amps, the Marshall stack or the SLO stack or the Triple Rex or the Cranks after a while and all them things. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm using this Rockmaster, and they're like, oh, never mind, whatever. No. But it sounded killer, and they couldn't wrap their head around the fact of why it was so tight. And then I remember Jerry Freeze telling me, and you telling me, Travis, that I was like, I want an SLO. And you guys basically said, well, you have one. You have a tube amp with a hot pre before it. You have a fucking badass amp.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's just they're in two different components.
Yeah. And those two components are to be found in any amp head. You got to have a preamp and you got to have a power amp.
And then I started being confident about it in the fact that I don't have a boutique amp. We talked about this before. It's not in your it's not in your amp anyway. It's in your fucking hands and your presence of what you're doing. Yeah. So I was after a while I started going, I wish I played through a Gorilla. So when people ask me, when the fuck you get? It's a Gorilla, man. Yeah, it's a Gorilla amp, little 5-watter back there.
I'll tell you my secret. You know that little switch on the Gorilla amp that says tube stack. I got it set to on. On. Yeah. Write that down. On.
I never paid any attention to my tone or anything until
a fact that was highly distressing to me.
Yeah, right.
Highly distressing.
Because before Marianas, the band that was my mainstay before that was Pipe Theory, and I had like a cheap Randall half stack, and I would duct tape Metal Zone 2, Boss Metal Zone 2 to my channel switch. So that when I hit one, they would both, And so I turned both distortions on at the same time and be as metal as I could be, play through a full stack. Dude. But then I got, in Marianas and Worm and Trav.
But before that, though, after you got rid of the Randall, you had for a minute, you had a PV Ultra.
Yeah. Yep. That's what Worm and I were talking about.
From Craig Churchill. I think I did.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the one with the color-changing PV logo. Yep. That's right. And then after that, you upgraded to the Soldano SLO 100. Yes. And did you get that one from Jeff Hazen?
No.
Or did that come from John Bridges?
That came from Santa Claus.
No, really?
Yeah. Anyway, he does have an SLO.
Gloss over that fucking point. Jesus.
Don't you know where he got it?
I can't remember. I remember there was some kind of fucking deal related.
Well, yeah. To it. Well, you were there, man.
I was were there. And you know what? Now wait a minute. No, I'm remembering now, and here's what I'm here to tell both of you gentlemen. That doesn't fucking matter anymore at all. That does not matter anymore at all.
What are we talking about here?
Trying to maintain some image of propriety about Worm and I's employment at Music Go Round. Yeah. Yeah, about. Are
we going to be honest about this now?
I don't. I'm telling you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. He's telling you.
There's nobody there. Here's what I want to know.
All right, so
who's over there?
Beer.
Who's over there?
Here's put it like we'll just put it like this.
Who's
okay?
over there?
Yeah, the SLO came in from Jeff Hazen. Jeff Hazen brought that into Music Go Round.
That's right.
And then you bought it from Music Go Round.
That's right.
Right.
Or something to that effect.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. All I know is that
is what happened.
You got a really good deal. So
you did get a good deal,
and it sounds awesome. I played through it. I've played through the amp before.
Yeah.
To keep elaborating on all of that though, I didn't care about tone, and until I got that amp, and then I got a nice cabinet and started running, all the stuff that you're supposed to be running.
Yeah.
And recently, Mike has started swapping pickups out in my guitar for me because he knows that I'm not going to do that, But I always ran the 500, which I forever thought was solid gold. Nothing was better, but there are way better. And so I've been kind of changing my tone quite a bit lately, and I'm starting to dig this Duncan bridge pickup that he put in there.
Do you know what it is?
I believe it's the Crunch Lab. He might have taken the Crunch Lab out.
Because the Crunch Lab, that's the John Petrucci pickup, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Mike could tell you every last thing about all of it.
One of the pole pieces looks like a rail, and the other one has got the 6 dots.
Here's what's interesting about
this. Not the one?
Nope.
Here's what's interesting about this podcast. Right now, there's 200 people that don't give a fuck about what you're talking
That's
about right
true.
now. And then there's maybe 200 that are going, oh man, what pickup is it?
Right,
and
right.
then I have to decide in my head while you guys are going over it, like, well, who do I want to please?
Yeah, that's what I
should
mean.
we move on?
That's the question.
Yeah.
If we're talking numbers, here, if there's 200 people out there that don't give a fuck about pickups, I wonder how many people sitting at this table don't give a fuck about those people.
Thanks. There went my podcast. Podcast over. Thank you.
Hey, I'm not saying that there is a number. It could be 0.
Yeah. But
Podcast over.
Like I said,
Well, see you guys later.
when I saw Chris Ermy, is that his name?
Chris Ermy.
Yes, it is.
You've
Chris
just never
Ermy.
known him as the Worm. Yeah.
I've always known him as Worm.
Yeah.
Hey, Worm, come here. Anyway, so he was reaming me about,
Worm
just don't
runs like a
ever
camel.
talk about video games again.
You know I love you, buddy. And we're talking about video games next.
he
He was
looks like John
reaming, yeah,
Goodman.
the next section, we're changing the name of the podcast to
8-bit extravaganza. Clavens.
he was like, "Oh, dude, I hate video game talk." And you guys, one episode, you talked about video games almost like the whole time, and I was like, "Sorry, man."
Clavin.
I'm like,
Did you just say Clavin?
I did just say Clavin.
Awesome.
Yeah. Unless we're
I've heard
talking
that
about
a long
playing
time.
Contra, Worm doesn't give a fuck.
I'm just gonna be straight up. I don't care. I mean, I'm sorry for that. You're gonna have them every once in a while. Everybody that
Metroid.
listens to the show is
Metroid,
gonna have
yeah.
some episodes that they're like, that one wasn't the best. You guys talking about pizza sauce the whole time. And
Tacos.
It just happens, man, because that's MDR. So,
That's right.
And
Talk about whatever the fuck we want.
there you go. You guys are in the recording process right now. When should we see this fucking record?
You were gonna wait a little while.
Are you guys procrastinating or what?
No,
Because you've
it's
been doing
just-
this record. I've
yeah.
known about it for at least a year.
We're
so.
trying to put out a full length, and so like I was talking about the way we write. So it takes a while for us to write.
And you're doing it all yourself, right?
Yeah,
I saw.
we went and bought everything that
That's
we felt
awesome.
like we needed. And we've Mike has really done a lot of it.
So you got a Fostech 4-track, couple 57s,
least.
it's a 3-track because one
a
doesn't work.
distortion pedal.
You
Metal
know it,
Zone
man.
too.
That's right.
Ah.
It's all duct taped. But we went and bought all that stuff, and the boys in Kronos Resistor have been helping us out a lot.
Well, Steve
Billy
Merritt
is
Yes, Steve
helping me out with the
Merritt
drums, right?
Yes, he has.
He's a wizard. Billy's a wizard too.
And Billy came over and sat with Mike, and I think they've gotten together with Mike more times than I'm even giving them credit for. So they've been helping
Isn't it
us
cool
out
to
quite a
have
bit.
people kind of vest in their interest in what you're doing and helping you out and all that?
Yep.
It's really
It
cool,
really
isn't it?
is, man.
Everybody
And,
wants to get on the old
Steve's
1152
even
wagon.
letting Eric cut tracks on his electronic kit. And he's letting us invade his house, and we show up, all 4 of us, and
I thought you were gonna say we show up all fucked up.
and we get all fucked up.
Drinking
and he
Red
lets us-
Stag.
Yeah, right. That's right, brother.
Fucking Flores. Crazy asshole.
He loves that Red Stag.
He does,
man.
dude.
He'll drink
I
it.
kind of love drinking it with him.
Yeah,
I kind of do.
Yeah,
I'll
Eric's
admit
a
it.
great time to drink with, man.
He is. He's fun.
Yep.
He's a fun drunk.
This
He's
record's
a
gonna
fun
be
guy.
awesome. I can't wait.
He's a fun guy.
Can't wait.
I'm excited about it, man, because I feel like it's different. It doesn't sound at all like the company, like.
But see, when you say that bothers me because
Right.
I loved the company.
wants it to sound
I'm
like
tired
the
of bands
company.
like saying, "Do you like the shit we did?" Well, our shit's totally different now.
Yeah, it's way better.
It's like, well,
It's not.
What the hell did you just do? Why'd you put marshmallows in my Captain Crunch?
No,
I say that, but
I talk about
I
Captain
say
Crunch
that-
way too much.
Yeah,
by
no,
the way.
you do, man. I'm saying, let's switch it to kicks.
it's kind of like is Rust in Peace that much different than Countdown, or is Puppets that much different than Justice?
I'll tell you this.
in the
Yeah.
minds of those guys,
Load
they're
is a lot
totally-
different
Yeah.
than Master of Puppets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that drastic.
Okay.
That's, but I think to those guys, it probably was, going from writing songs like Punishment Due, and then you're writing Sweating Bullets. I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
But everybody that bought Rust in Peace bought Countdown to Extinction and probably loved the shit out of it.
I did. I did. I bought both those albums.
Well,
I don't think we're
I was a
not
huge
going to go
Megadeth
from
fan.
like sounding like Slayer to sounding like Milli Vanilli, but we're working on our dance moves. And
Dave Mustaine's a bad motherfucker. A BMF, by the way. You hate him, I know. You
No,
hate
I
his
don't.
voice. I thought it was
I
you that
hate his
didn't like his
voice.
voice. Yeah.
yes, I wish it's weird because until recently, guy I work with, Josh, started showing me how awesome Megadeth has always been. And like I've always liked them.
Never strayed, man.
What's that?
They've never strayed. Megadeth
Yeah.
has always been Megadeth.
There's a couple albums in there
lately.
like Cryptic Writings. And,
yeah, when you get a wife and kids and shit, you
Euthanasia.
start to write some sloppy shit sometimes. You got time for it.
What I was going to say is I kind of wish now that James Hetfield was in Megadeth as only their lead singer. And then I think that might have been the greatest band there ever was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if
I don't
he
know,
was
man.
putting his vocal hooks and his voice on
I
that
love
music,
the flaws in Mustaine's voice. I have to disagree with you on that. I think that there can only be one Megadeth
that's
singer.
nails on the chalkboard.
And it's got to be, well, you know what? There's some people that hate Hetfield.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, that yelling, oh yeah, yeah. Come on now. All that bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, you know, that's what's so crazy, because you and I know, man, because we've had to stand on stage and put our voice into a microphone through a PA and do unnatural things with it that, you know, people are going to immediately go, oh, like this, or they're going to be like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. And to have people like the way that your vocals sound is so scary and validating, and then to know that there's some people that are like, I've had this happen. I mean, in Drop Hammer, it happened all the time. I mean, you've heard my voice. It's not going to be one that everybody's going to love. And I can't do anything about it. That's just how I sound, you know?
Yeah, right. I know what you mean, man.
Can't change it, man. I mean, obviously, if I'd have met somebody that sounded like Phil Anselmo, I would have tried to get him in the band, but I sing the way I sing, and I was the only one that was going to step up to the plate. So that's what Drop Hammer ended up sounding like. And I've had people look me straight in the face and go, I love the music, but I hate the singing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's me singing.
Yeah.
A lot of people felt that way about
man,
Anthrax.
talk about a punch in the gut, man. You got to be prepared for that shit.
A lot of people said that about Marianis.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. A lot of people
Makes you want
were
to
like,
fight.
man,
Don't
the
it?
music's awesome.
Makes you want to do push-ups every day and eat raw eggs, and then challenge them to a boxing match.
No, but it was Anthrax. I mean, among the big four bands, they were the band that had an actual singer. You know, I mean, at the time, you know, of the four, you know, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. Anthrax was the one that had the most melodic vocals, and a lot of people did not like Anthrax for that reason. And you know, it just isn't for everybody. But personally, I'm more on the side of gritty singing. I mean, I am not.
It fits
a big
more
atonal.
with metal. I mean,
I like
you
it.
You can't put mayonnaise as an icing on a cake. I mean, it just doesn't fit, you know, and that kind of vocal needs to be in metal.
I think so too.
I mean, Rush got away with some weird shit though, because they still were a progressive metal band, but
Geddy sounds like the second singer in Head East.
Yeah,
if you ever listen to Head East, you know, 'cause I've been walking in circles.
Which I thought was a chick.
No, it's a dude, and he kind of looks like Geddy Lee
As
too.
a kid, there was 3 songs I remember hearing that I was like, "Oh, that's totally a chick singing."
Yeah.
And that was Rush,
right?
Like any song,
right?
You know,
Yeah.
Living in the limelight. Okay,
Yep.
and then another one was Touch. When the lights go down. I thought that was a girl.
Steve Perry. Right?
For some reason, thought that was
Save
a girl.
My Life, I'm Going Down for the Last time.
And that one, yeah. But the second part of it. And I was like, damn, man, there's a lot of girls in rock.
There are, man.
Yeah.
Tons of chicks in rock.
There
Some
are
of them
now.
really super good looking. Have you seen Poison? Have you seen that band? Those chicks are hot.
Have you ever had anybody not like the vocals in 1152? Because they're not. Because there's also.
I'm sure. Yeah. Nobody's really like came up right to me and said that, but well, I've heard people have said there's too much Hetfield. He's trying to be James Hetfield. When we first started out, I would hear a little.
Well, he's a huge hero of yours, right?
Right, and that's you know what I trained myself to sound like. And of course, that's going to come out, you know.
Sure.
But, you know, I don't know if people bag on my voice or not. I've never really heard.
Well, I, for one, hate your voice.
I do too, man.
I always have. And
which means he's jealous of it or he loves it.
Yes.
And he's attracted to you.
Yeah, man. Like the harmonies that we used to do were,
I know, I love
cool,
that.
man.
That's the thing I miss.
Yeah.
That is the thing I miss most is doing vocal harmonies, man.
I enjoy
sitting there and
singing
fucking
vocal harmonies,
practicing
man.
them,
It's
getting them all Nashville'd up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
getting them to sound.
Mike's
like
starting
a
to
chord
sing
buster.
a ton of
Yeah,
harmonies
I saw.
now, man.
I was like, man, that's sounding good.
He's really singing,
gotta,
dude. It's
gotta
great.
have him.
Yep.
Gotta have him for sure. But no, you know, when you were talking about the evolution of the band, this is what I was hoping for. The difference between Sound of White Noise and Stomp 442. See?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Right on.
And he started out using
that's
like
my brand of Anthrax.
That's
I'm a
me too.
Stan Bush fan, dude.
Yeah, me too. I loved
the
it.
original singer. I could live without him. Although I love their early albums.
Well, yeah, Persistence of Time.
But
Among
I felt
the
like
Living.
they got better when they got Stan Bush in there, and he was really belting out some,
And he was from
he's
what
got like
band?
more soul. Armored
Saint.
Yep.
That's right.
Are you kind of being conscious of writing things that you're going to be able to play live perfectly? Because I know that maybe the first couple records you guys maybe overthought some of the stuff and couldn't do it live vocally. Because I've written your ass about this.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about that, man, is it depends. Like on nights when we're firing and the crowd is firing, you can't. Seems like you can't lose. I don't know.
Nothing
I'm sure you
but net.
guys know what I'm talking about. Because you have adrenaline and you have that excitement.
Well, there's something special about seeing you guys. I mean, I've seen a lot of local bands, and first of all, you guys really need to understand that you're lucky, and it's not lucky, you've earned it, but I'm just saying you're lucky that there's that many people there that are supporting you. And I've felt the energy of the room before, and I got to tell you, I stood right up in the front, because I wanted to see it, and I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm not the only one. They don't need my support. You guys, there's a certain energy in the room that people understand.
That's what we're trying to do.
They're seeing
man.
something special.
That's what we're trying to do. Like, just shell it out,
Yeah.
just big old shovels full of it. Just try and
it looks like you can feel it. It looks like you guys understand that that's happening. You get caught up in it as well.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying, and when you're caught up in that, I feel like you can't hit a bad note and your voice is unstoppable, but there's also those, not even shows, nights at practice or nights at home where you're tired, you're beat down from the day or whatever your problem might be, and you just can't put your ass into it.
I was going to say, you just can't get it up.
Yeah, that too.
You just can't get it up.
I was thinking earlier today.
It happens, man.
I like the way it had an echo.
So I was thinking earlier about, we all have this identity that we've all came, with this music thing and being in bands, and you're known as Dusty Smith, the metal guitar player and singer of 1152, and I'm known for whatever, and Smelling Bad or whatever it is, and Travis. We all have this identity that we've always chased, and we've landed in this whole other world that, where we landed and where we thought we were going to go. I mean, you're still on the ride. Who knows where you're going still? But for Travis and I, for sure, and I know a lot of people that watch this show, they're kind of done with that, and they find themselves in this job that they might hate, or and wishing that, man, I wish I did something that I like to do. I just wondered what you think that you would, if you'd never found music, what do you think the alternate Dusty Smith would have been?
Wow. That's a great question.
That is a really cool question, man.
Thank you very much. I just thought of it. No,
wow.
You're a fucking genius.
No, I was thinking about that. I just was interested. I was like wondering what people would, if you didn't find Metallica or whatever it is that made you pick up the stuff, what do you think you'd be doing?
I guess the first thing that pops in my head is something else that I'm really interested in, like other things in my life now that take a back seat to music would be like fishing.
So you'd want to be like,
that was the first thing that popped
in
my head.
You want to be a professional lazy man in a boat floating around the river,
right?
Oh, way to reach for the stars,
right?
Aside from
that's the life, man.
As opposed to a lazy guy with a guitar in his hand.
Right. I'm sorry, Travis.
I'm up there sweating, brother.
A fish, like a professional fisherman.
You ain't sweating like that when you're fishing. No.
Welcome to the Dusty Smith
That's
Fishing
just
Show.
the first thing that popped in my head,
really?
Man.
You like to fish?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't lately.
Do you hunt?
No. Good friend of mine, Kindred Priest, plays bass for Fantastic.
Excellent fucking bass player. Good God.
Amazing.
If I was that kid, first of all, let me interject right now. If I were that kid, I would get the fuck out of here.
He's been.
And I would go be a bass session player and make lots of money.
He's been out.
Okay.
He didn't want to do it. He came back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then what do I know? Go ahead.
He's hardcore into hunting, and so are some of the guys Eric in the band, and Clark. Clark is a guy who has been with us forever. He helps us in multiple ways. More than, I don't want to sit here and say Clark's our roadie. He's our
groupie.
He's our dude, man. He's our freaking dude. But they hunt, you know, and it seems like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it seems cool. I like to go shoot something. That'd be cool.
See, if I did it, I would have to do it in the sense that here goes another 200 listeners.
There he goes.
But
yeah, I know. I just thought about that as soon as it left. But hey,
there's some people that would go out and do that. They're like, okay, I got to find something to kill and get it and take it and clean it and get out of here. I would want to do it to where it's a total, like, I don't get to even try to shoot at anything until I haven't eaten for 4 days. And you're dirty and you're stinky and you're starving.
No gun.
Well, no, then you can have a gun. Then, because if you go into the woods first, and there's a fucking deer standing right there, boom, and then you're done. I want to be out and like be starving, like, I don't know, get in touch with your human roots of being hungry,
Yeah, right.
and dirty and thirsty and fucking. There's a deer, and then this is your only chance, man, and you only get a bullet. Okay, if you miss, you lose. You go home. You stop by a Pizza Hut.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
But
exactly.
you see what I'm saying? I would want to do it in that raw, like real intense, you know. And a lot of people go up there in their tree stands and they got like nut bars and they got shit to eat, you know. And
it's the people. Hey, let's go camping, and they get in the fucking RV and they got showers and toilets. And fucking
I would want to do it for real, to where
I've got all that.
You're hungry.
I've got a big RV.
You should, man. You should, dude.
Make a ritual of it.
And when I go camping, we use the shower and the...
See, that's the benefit of living in modern society. You don't have to go out and do that shit. It's a purely elective thing if you fucking do that shit.
Sure. Here's another fun thing for musicians to talk about, and especially with you, Dusty, because you've been playing a lot of shows, and you know, I want to know what show would stand out in your mind for the absolute worst show that you've ever performed, and where just bad luck just kept raining on you. Have you ever had that happen?
I've had some bad luck at shows. I was playing Ribco in Marianus once and had the strap like not come off of my guitar, but literally just like right here somewhere just broke right in half. You remember that?
I do remember that.
What'd you do?
It was a lot of suck. I just crouched down to keep playing, but I was also supposed to sing, so when I had to sing it. But absolute worst show ever. We played in Keokuk once, and I guarantee as soon as I said that, everybody in my band probably just laughed. Yeah, 1152.
Okay.
Yep, my bad. It was early in us being a band, you know. This was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And we went down there with The Last Glimpse, which is Loader's band.
That's right.
And it was their very first ever show. And I remember Jeff and I talking, and he was like, yeah, you know, I would love to come down and open because we need to play a gig to get warmed up for it was either their very first show or their CD release was coming, and he wanted a warm-up gig for it. And so we were all stoked to be playing that far away from home, and the payday was good for us. That was our biggest payday at the time that Mike negotiated for us and got us the gig and stuff. And we went down there and we show up, and have you been to Keokuk?
I have. I'm not sure if I've been to this place, but go ahead.
Am I seeing the right city? That's the very southern tip of Iowa, right?
That's right.
Keokuk? Yeah. Okay. That's where we were.
Yep.
And I had no idea what it was like, you know, and sorry if I offend anybody from Keokuk, but it's pretty shitty, you know, and I wouldn't say pretty shitty.
Whatever. My dad used to work there. I can honestly say, fuck Keokuk, Iowa.
Right? Trying hard to not piss anybody off, but
unless you're cool.
You know, there was just a lot of good old boys like eyeballing, you know, and I think one dude was even fucking with Loader, you know, just, you know, it was just everything just felt bad, right? You know, like maybe I shouldn't have said shithole, but just everything felt bad when we were there. So we get there, we go in, there's no PA. And the stage is a karaoke stage with like the party streamers hanging down, and it's like as big as this desk. And
I think I remember
so
that.
we were ready to call it, you know, and this local dude who was just hanging out at the bar caught wind of the whole situation and had one speaker tower that was 2 12s and a mic. It was a self-powered, and that's what we used as a vocal PA.
And then just
everybody just
drums,
played like
boom.
practice style, you know, just and there was really nobody at all there. Wow. It was just a pretty brutal night.
You just wanted
that one stands out as a brutal
to get out
night.
Of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was brutal.
All right,
that's awful.
Now the best one.
Best one was probably last year when we opened for Saliva down in Muscatine.
How'd you get that gig?
I can't remember.
I never get no credit for nothing, man.
So anyway, have you seen the video we made for the company? No, you hooked us up, and we love you for that.
Well, let me explain why that happened. It came down the pipe to me of, hey, you think 1152 would be a cool band to have? Yes, and that's all it really was. But somebody asked me, and I was just like, yeah, duh.
Mike Ritchie,
yep, great guy,
awesome guy. He was a really cool guy to work with that day because he had his shit together and he did a super good job.
How many people do you think were there?
I don't know. Were you nervous? I get nervous as soon as we're done.
Oh, really? When you're done?
Yeah, I shouldn't say that because Saturday night we just played at Ribco and I got really nervous right before we played, so I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I still get nervous every gig, man.
What do you mean by when you're done?
Sometimes I can just put all that and focus on, if I focus hard enough on thinking about my lyrics and what I'm gonna say in between songs, and everything. I try and think about every little aspect of the show before I go up and do it, just to kind of try and visualize it, before it happens. And so I think once that goes away and the adrenaline dumps on a show like that, where we always, when we talk about it, there's probably 2,000 people there. And is it like this for you?
Know. Is it like this for you, Dusty, when you play a show like that, when you're done, all you have is 2 or 3 screenshots in your head of the show, and then the rest is just gone.
It's a total blur, dude.
But you were up there for an hour, and you remember 3 or 4 screenshots of maybe the horizon and maybe, a couple things, and then
it's true.
Shit.
Yeah. It's weird, man. I just sat here and said, that I visualize the whole thing and I think about what I'm going to say and I think about all, but that's never exactly how it goes down. And when we're done, I can't remember half the, what songs we played or, we got set lists for that, but what I did say to the crowd
and how it came out.
How did they react to this or that? And
for being a front man of a band like you are and I am, and totally 2 different realms, but still the same thing. The last thing you want to do is go out there and go, hey, what's up, people?
Yeah.
You
fucking can't
trip
over
on
your words,
I can do it on a podcast because it doesn't matter. But when you're in rock star mode, you can't go up there and say,
nope.
Some fucked up word and stumble on your words and shit.
Yep. And you got to kind of watch. That was an all ages thing too. Yeah. So I didn't want to be up there you motherfuckers, let's fuck some fucking shit up.
Well, you're never like that.
Little girl
you're never like that anyway.
The man's mouth.
Yeah.
Right. That night, speaking of little kids, I keep going off on all these tangents, but that night was cool too because there was all these, after we played, there was a lot of people who wanted to be around us,
touch you,
talk to us, and have
your babies,
have stuff signed, buy stuff, and there was these little kids that wanted picks and drumsticks, and that feels good, man.
Well, hey, man, what you got?
Hell yeah.
It took me a long time to learn that right there. It made me really uncomfortable because and it hangs on to this day. Doing this, I'm still like, when are people going to see through it that it's not cool? And it's always this self-doubting thing. I do it all the time. I've battled it my whole life, and part of doing this is me just fighting right through it and saying, fuck it, who cares? Right. Bring it. Make fun of me, hate me, whatever. Don't listen to the show, have 2 listeners, whatever. Let's be real about it. And I still have that. And that feeling of looking up to somebody, and you might be changing somebody's life. They might be seeing you and going, God, I want to be just like that guy. And you write it off as, because we've been in the scene long enough, it's nothing to us now. But a kid like that, seeing you guys play, that might have changed that whole kid's outlook on his life. You might have ruined it for him.
Might have.
He might be, 40 years old doing a podcast in his bedroom someday.
To me, it's just this whole notion of how we all have to come to terms with just the plain fact that who we are to other people is totally a figment of their imagination. You know what I mean? They put us in these boxes because our awareness of each other comes from ourselves, Like I don't know the real Brian Miner or the real Dusty Smith. I just have hopefully well-fed and well-conceived notions of you because we've hung out, and we've done stuff together. And, I feel like I can predict some of your behaviors and that I know you're not going to fucking, punch me in the mouth in the next 10 seconds, maybe. In the next 10 seconds. I'm not okay. This guy looks shifty. But
I wouldn't trust him.
But you know what I mean, though? And that's an uncomfortable thing to think about.
He's got a beard and no mustache. I don't trust people like that.
That shit ain't right.
Yeah,
man.
right. Exactly. So what is he, Amish?
I can't rock a mustache, dude. Mustache drives me nuts.
No, I can't
do it.
yeah.
I do it, but it drives me nuts.
Dude, you need one of them big curly ones.
Yeah,
the handlebars, man. Hell yeah. And the beard, dude.
Oh, I can see it.
And some like real old school dumbbells and one of them white tank tops.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about?
And a little black hat.
Totally, man. Exactly. He's the strong man at the circus.
I'll whistle when I walk.
In 1879. Yeah, right. Exactly.
That kills me, man.
But you know what I mean, though? That's an uncomfortable thing to have to deal with. That what you are to other people is not something that you can really understand very easily. And it's something that can be completely fucking made up. And you might be making and breaking lives and careers and shit just by being who you are at whatever place you're at. And when you put yourself on stage, it's powerful and fucked up.
How did you guys feel as singers and performers? Like a problem I have, and you kind of just touched on this, is I'll get off stage and I'll think about all the mistakes and I'll think of only that. And there's so many good things that happen that you should think about, that you should focus on. And people out in the crowd aren't giving a fuck if you hit a few wrong notes.
You just went over your own question.
Right. Oh, I know.
You just answered
I get
your
the
own
whole
question.
thing. I get it, man.
Yeah, why is it that the logic doesn't prevail?
I just did it Saturday night.
I've seen you fuck up before. And in my mind, I'm the one that you need to worry about because I'm the one that knows the music that well. And, people like me in the crowd. And when you fuck up, people look at it like, yeah, I fuck up too sometimes. The fact that you make a mistake here and there does not matter to people that love your music. They're not going to be like, well, I'm done with 1152 because he missed that fucking chord.
Yep, you're right.
They almost hope that you do sometimes so that they feel a little bit more human too. Because if you're a machine all the time, that gets boring, I think.
The two most vile, evil words in any human language is the words "good job," because that's the moment where you stop striving. I don't think you ought to try to stop feeling bad about your mistakes in a way. As long as
kind of what put you where
you know
you're
what I mean.
at.
It's as long as you don't get to the point where you're just punishing yourself endlessly with it. But I think it's constructive.
Fear of failure
it's constructive.
Fear of failure is the most powerful motivator we have.
Yeah.
And every one of them little failures that you feel that you've had, next time you won't do them. I guarantee you never make the same mistake twice. You'll come up with some new ones maybe.
Yeah.
But what you have, the same fucking thing?
You mean on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you do the same thing over and over?
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I have a problem with singing the second verse first.
Yeah. I do that shit too.
Never do it in practice.
Too.
Never
do
in
that
practice.
shit too, man.
Oh, my
Put
God.
me on the stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you realize that that's happening. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. And I got Mike who's singing harmonies. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm totally screwing in. He's like, oh, what's the second verse? This isn't right.
Yeah, right.
He's good about
now.
that.
I know that it's originals and it probably doesn't happen to you, but for me, we're playing a lot more songs in the night, and I'm notorious for fucking forgetting words. So, I'm up there and here comes the intro and then here comes the riff and they bring it down to where I'm supposed to start singing. And I'm like, ooh, I can't even think of the first fucking word. I have to go over, I have to act like, all right, break it down for a second. All right, I want to know. And I start talking to the crowd, you know what I mean? Because I have no fucking clue what the word is. And then I'm like, I want to know how many people are getting drunk tonight.
Let's
What's
get
the first
funky.
words, Ed?
Yep.
I'm asking somebody,
necessary coolness.
I did that exact thing just on Saturday.
Yeah.
I sang
It's scary.
the second verse
I
first,
panic.
and then during right after the chorus, before the second verse actually started, I was gonna sing the first verse. So I looked at Mike. I'm like, dude, what's the first verse?
Here, I got
sang the second verse again.
I got
twice.
They try to fucking mouth it over to you, and you're like, I have no idea what you're saying.
when Drophammer did our first reunion show just recently in the last couple years or whatever it was, we we had everything set up on stage. Everything was set up, and we come out, and the announcer's like, "Okay, you guys," and it's packed fucking house at Rascals. Okay, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is exciting." Pick up my guitar, turn it on, because I usually give it that just to make sure the fucker's on. And it was like nothing, and I was like, and I go through volume, yep, chord, okay, go back to the amp, standby, everything's on, everything. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Speaker's not
and Terry goes, and to do the first song, and just at the last second, I pushed the chord that was coming out of the preamp in. Boom! And it was on. I was holy shit. And I couldn't enjoy the build up to coming in because I was panicking because if can you imagine 2, 3, 4, just drums, nothing else, and I'm like, sorry.
And then that,
wait a minute, everybody,
that sets your pace for the
My name's Dusty Smith, and I'll try to blame it on somebody else.
I'm pretty sure it was Travis was there. He's like, hey, pulled the chord out a little bit. Yeah.
I'll get that minor.
Just right at the last fucking second, I pushed that chord back in, and it was okay. There it is, and off to the races, man.
Fuck, man. Yeah, off to the fucking heart attack.
Panicking like the end of the world. Like I wasn't thinking of nothing else except my guitar. And I'm like, hold on, Terry. And he's like, counting off the first song, and I'm like, thank God,
dude.
It was scary as fuck.
That is scary. That would flip me out
when that shit happens,
That's
man.
fucking give me some PTSD on that shit.
I was freaking out because my wireless was going bad. My wireless was going bad. At that show in Muscatine, where
it's always those kind of shows too, man.
It's just there's a bad connection inside my box.
Damn it, inside your box.
Something is wrong in my box.
I've been in there. It seemed like it was all right to me.
Well, you haven't been in there in a while.
You need to do shit.
Shit's got to change.
Things have rattled around a little bit.
Sorry.
Contents may settle during shipment.
Right, but it'll cut out and like crackle. And I've always thought it wasn't the issue, but somehow, I jiggled this or that around and it never did it again.
Have you ever had like a trucker come through? All right, 110, breaker 110. I have.
Have you really? Yeah. Steve picks up some like radio stations where we practice with his
like,
wireless.
listen real fast, like,
there's a little black spot on the side.
That feeling of panic. Nice. It's barely there.
Yeah,
kind of fuzzy.
For them people that aren't in bands, you got to understand that they're like, why are these guys so weird? Well, you're not. You're usually all cool before the show and you're hanging out and stuff, but I'm not very approachable, and because I got things to worry about, man. I got a lot of things on my fucking mind here, and I don't have time to talk about your cousin learning Eruption first time he heard it, or you know what I mean. I don't have time for that right now. It's like, cool, we'll talk later. Right now, I'm like, did I plug my, because they're talking to me, and meanwhile, I'm like, did I put a new battery in my wireless? It's
You're
like,
not hearing a
something
word of
bad's
it.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
What's the first words of "Here we are"? Shit. That's why I just sing now. Fucking, I go check, good, let's go.
Yep. Kind of like Minor Disturbance radio broadcasts. I used to have to bring my own phones and bring my own Shure SM7.
Yeah, no more
now
phones
Brian's got
anymore.
It all. Yeah, no more phones. I find it liberating.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, it's more like we're just sitting here having a conversation.
Yeah, just fucking talking about shit.
I like it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
So what do you think, Dusty? I mean, I guess there's several questions in this one question. First of all, where do you want to be with 1152? Money wise.
Answer that right now.
Yeah, what do you want to make a year doing it?
I would have to at least make what my combined income as a family. For me to quit my job and put my wife and son on the, in some kind of, maybe not in dire straits, like they're going to die or anything, but, to
risk their stability.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
I'm trying to put that into words and I just can't spit it out. It would take to at least the amount of money that I'm bringing in now with working,
Okay. We're not going to say that number.
It would just have to be that, and I can't answer for the other guys, I think that would probably be their case too, we all.
So you guys pretty much are just liking and what you're doing, enjoying writing songs, and wherever it goes, but you're not really going to push real hard in any direction.
Well, we are. I mean, we are going to push real hard. Because we're trying to do both. And a lot of people say that you can't, or
I'm just being the devil's advocate here. I'm just saying what everybody else that listens is thinking.
Yeah.
And they're thinking like, okay, well, if you're going to do all this pushing, then that's going to put you in a position where you're going to have to get onto a tour and completely go off the rails. Because we've talked to 3 Years Hollow. They have like 6 singles on that CD.
Right.
And they're struggling.
Right.
Struggling.
And they got wives and kids and shit.
Yeah, and they're doubting themselves. I mean, just Jose the other day put a post up on Facebook that he sometimes doubts why he even wants to do this anymore and go through all this that they're going through, and then he reminds himself that it's the fans. It's a slow build, just like anything else. I mean, you don't go from nothing to millions of fans unless you're a pop singer,
right? And go viral or whatever,
right? And so
the percentage of people that do that are
slim,
tiny
0.0 whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're going to gain 5 fans here, 5 fans there, and it's a slow build. So it's just like with MDR. It's like we build new every week. I get like 2 or 3 people that email me and tell me how awesome it is, and man, I didn't notice this, and this is awesome. And so we get them slowly, and I'm like, okay, it's a slow build. And sometimes I'm like, why do I even do it? And then you realize it because people like it. They do.
Yep. And we like it.
Yeah, and we like it, first of all. But so that's what I'm saying is the success train, though, to really get to push, you have to get the fuck out of here. But you're saying that you won't do that.
You do. Well, I would. And I think I know that the guys in my band would, under the right set of circumstances.
Well, this album might be, if you guys get it done the way you want to do it, this could be the little bit of encouragement that you need to go on to a higher level of...
Right.
But what is the next level?
I don't know. We think about it and we talk about it a lot. I think for us, the next level... First, I want to touch on something that I can't remember if we talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, or I don't think we were on camera yet, or, we were just sitting here talking. Right. But we were kind of talking about the same thing where, 3 Years Hollow is a great example. Those guys have worked at it and put everything they got into it, and they built a really good core of fans right here in the Quad Cities. And they had a good core of fans in Geneseo. And then they started playing around here locally. They weren't going out on tour, but they were playing on like Wednesday nights up in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. They were doing it. They were keeping their day jobs and running their lives, but also going out and building in every town that core. And I think you can do that. And, I think you can use the internet. Obviously, it's the greatest tool that we've all been given as musicians as far as promotion. And so if you can put together a really nice video and make a really good album and have really cool shirts and stickers and put together a really good package that people really want, if the people in the Quad Cities really like it, then the people in most any city are really going to like it, Because that same group of people exists everywhere, I think, It's not like if you turned MDR on in some town in Florida that nobody would, you would have no listeners. Where here you have
actually
hundreds.
It's true because they wouldn't know who the fuck we're talking about.
That's true because we talk about local stuff.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying.
I get you.
Right. If we were doing something that was more general, like
if you were doing
Florida's
music scene,
I like the way that you think, Dusty, because in my mind, I kind of, that whole idea that you're talking about right there has been something that's been in the forefront of my mind, and it's been pushed back by people talking to me like, you can't think that way. You can't think that just because your product's viable here, that it could catch on and be viable everywhere. That dream's over now. And I'm like, well, how come? Because Metallica did it that way.
Yeah. I think it's more true than ever.
Yeah, and I think that too. Word of mouth is the most powerful thing. If people are like, dude, you don't know who 1152 is, then you ain't on the cool train. If that starts to happen, then it will spread like wildfire. And I definitely think the product's there. I love the music, obviously.
Right on.
And
thanks, man.
And I think that the product is there. I just hope that we're so saturated with new product, new music, new everything all the time that I think people are just so desensitized to what's good and what's bad that it's just, they don't have time to listen to 300 new songs that are on the internet every day.
Yeah.
Or
I think that's going to start to wear thin, man. I do. I mean, how long? I think there's something to be said about listening to an album each song is supposed to bleed into the next one. Or
I hate to say it though, man, but the whole decline of music video like MTV, and even though MTV is so saturated with pop now, but my point is, in radio is taking a hit. I mean, radio is getting its butt because it's Sirius radio and everything's so spread out. You could hear you're gonna hear the B sides of every band in the world. You see what I'm saying?
Like Pandora and those are really.
It used to be there was a rock station,
right?
And then so when you heard it on the rock station, you were only picking from 10 different bands, and then they had 10 huge bands every time.
Right.
Nowadays it's hard to break through because all these things that we had to rely on that made stars are now defunct and they're antiquated.
You could look at the television model because that happened to television when we used to have just 4, 6, 8 and PBS. And then, Cox Cable came to town, and then everybody had, 30 channels. And then the channel count kept getting higher. And now it's the internet,
Right.
When I turn on cable television anymore, unless there's specifically a show that I want to watch because I can't watch it live when it happens on the internet, I'm always just like, this fucking thing. You know what I mean? God, I got to watch commercials and shit. Fuck.
Now you're watching commercials on YouTube.
Yeah, but they're a lot easier to ignore. They're a lot shorter, and as long as you just hit the skip button or whatever.
No, some of them are like 29 seconds.
That's true. There are a few that do that, but it's not. They're not all that way. Yeah. It's a little less annoying. Although there are some videos that I'm like, okay, I'm mildly interested in this. Make me watch it. No, fuck off. I ain't watching you. I don't care about you anymore.
Fuck off.
I'm not sitting for 30 extra seconds to see your fucking dog.
This will say something. This will say something about our culture. And the most viewed video on YouTube is Gangnam Style.
Really?
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
That's the one that's the one that's had the most views.
Is it because it's a worldwide thing, or
I don't know? It just was the most viewed fucking video.
It's weird what goes viral.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, dude.
Yeah.
Now that we have kids. You wait. I hate when people say you wait, but listen, my 4-year-old daughter, I came out into the living room the other day and she was watching an animated gummy bear sing a gummy bear song, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And I looked at the views and it was 70 million views.
Right.
And then the next video she was watching with there's these adults that have cameras and they unpack toys and dolls and things and play, and look, now the Barbie does, and I'm like, God, what creepy shit is this? 150 million views.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And these people make their living doing that. You know why? Because 150 million views translates into at least $150,000 if they watch the ads. It's a weird thing on YouTube. It is very for real because the highest paid YouTube guy is a video gamer. I forget what his name is. Somebody would know what his name is. But he plays video games and people watch him and he talks while he's playing them, and he gets he makes millions of dollars, like $5 million a year doing that.
Right.
See, that's what I'm. There's so many ways. There's so many ways to get your music out there. That's another. Well,
I'll tell you what.
So many ways to get your whatever out there.
Yeah. No kidding.
That's the thing that's fucking wild. It's like people don't always choose music. Nowadays. Now it's everything's on demand, and plus it makes it a lot harder to monetize your shit. Like it used to be, you sold records and CDs and stuff, and now you're really your recordings are as much as anything just a promotional tool for your live shows and your fucking
I've
t-shirts.
Said that before.
And your
Anymore,
and
it's not the record.
Card,
we were talking about that. Like Kiss used to put out a record every year. It's because the product was what paid you. You were paying $5 to get into the concert,
right.
But the record, if you sold 1 million records, well, you made a lot of money. And anymore, you don't sell 1 million records, and you don't see. But you charge a lot more to get in. Next time you go see Metallica, tell me how much you pay to get in. You're not paying $5.
No.
Back in the 70s, you were paying $5, but the record was $15 or however. You know what I'm saying? And that was your product. So they put one out every year because they wanted that payday, and they had to tour on it to keep the people interested. It was more of we're selling a record and then they make us tour.
Right. Well, and we're using the tour to promote the record.
Promote the record, right? And now
now it's all the opposite.
Exactly.
It's the opposite.
The model is completely flipped. Hey, but I'll tell you what, Dusty, if any band could break the mold of how it's done, it's you guys. I believe in you guys.
Right on, man.
Win or lose, I'll still love the band. That's the whole thing. I really dig it.
I appreciate you saying that, man. And really, honestly, for us, I don't know if it really matters all that much about how far it goes. I mean, it does. It does for me anyway. I can speak for myself that a smaller portion of it does. A larger portion of it is just being able to play and get together and write music. That's it, man. Seriously.
It's magic, isn't it?
All right, now Kiss. I want to say it.
Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it, and all the luck to you. I can't wait
brother.
to see what comes out of this new record. If you need any help with it, I mean, anything. If you need
Same
to
goes
borrow
for me too, man.
Yeah.
any equipment,
Right
or
on.
anything,
Same goes for me.
Right
I'll
on.
be there to help you out, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks
So,
for having me on, you guys.
You're welcome.
Very
Absolutely.
much.
It's about time we got you. I know you're a busy man now, so
dude.
But
Yeah, you're welcome
it's
for
hard.
having you on us, guys.
you know it's my favorite.
I know it.
But anyway, to the listeners, man, thank you so much for watching this podcast. And I know it's silly sometimes, and it's hard to keep up with. It seems like you guys enjoy it, and we're having fun. And please, if you have somebody you know that hasn't seen it, say something to them. Say, hey, man, try out this MDR thing. It might be for you, it might not be, but look, we're not trying to get rich. It's just I want to get to where when bands come on like this, a big amount of people see them. So that's what our community around here needs, is an outlet like this, and I'm trying to provide it. And go check out 1152 the next time that they're playing. Buy their new CD that comes out. Get the scene stirred up here. And by the way, press the subscribe button on the fucking video. I don't know where it's going to be. It's going to be like up here somewhere or something. Click on that son of a bitch, because the more of them we get, the cooler sponsors we get, and then the more shit we can give away.
Right.
That's how it works. We love you guys. Big kisses. Mwah. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.
And from the outside we run farther away from the man that they say you are. We light up the darkest sky.
Oh, shit. I said that.